Osama bin Laden was considered one of the most dangerous individuals in the world due to his role as the leader of the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda and his responsibility for the September 11, 2001 attacks in the United States. Here are some of the reasons why he was seen as a significant threat. Terrorist attacks. Osama bin Laden is most notoriously known for being the mastermind behind the devastating attacks of September 11, 2001. These attacks were one of the most traumatic and impactful events in contemporary history. On that tragic morning, 19 terrorists hijacked 4 American commercial airplanes. 2 of them were intentionally crashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, causing the towers to collapse within hours. A 3rd plane was directed towards the Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense, in Arlington, Virginia. The 4th plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was en route to Washington, D.C. But the passengers on board rebelled against the hijackers, resulting in the plane's crash in Pennsylvania before it could reach its intended target. The September 11, 2001 attacks were devastating in terms of loss of life and emotional impact. Nearly 3,000 people from over 90 countries lost their lives that day. Additionally, the shocking images of the collapsing towers and the Pentagon in flames were broadcast worldwide, leaving an indelible mark on global memory and generating a shockwave that resonated deeply in the United States and around the world. These attacks triggered an immediate response from the United States and the international community. The U.S. initiated the so-called War on Terror, which included invasions in Afghanistan, where Al-Qaeda was based, and in Iraq, partly due to concerns related to weapons of mass destruction, although substantial evidence to support these claims was not found. The September 11th attacks also led to a significant shift in security and international policies, including stricter airport security measures, enhanced international cooperation in counterterrorism efforts, and a renewed focus on intelligence and counterterrorism. Central role in the planning and execution of these terrible attacks, Osama bin Laden became an iconic figure in international terrorism and one of the most wanted individuals in the world until his death in 2011. His legacy as the leader of Al-Qaeda and his responsibility for the September 11, 2001 attacks ensured his place in history as one of the most dangerous and infamous figures of the 21st century. Extremist ideology. Osama bin Laden was a fundamentalist Islamic extremist who believed in a radical interpretation of Islam, which he promoted as the only true and pure form. His religious and political vision was based on a strict interpretation of Islamic law, Sharia, which he believed should be imposed worldwide. He argued that the United States and its Western allies posed an existential threat to Islam and Muslims, and he saw the need for armed resistance to protect Islam from what he viewed as its distorted portrayal. Bin Laden also believed in jihad, which means struggle or striving in Arabic, and he advocated for it to be waged globally against the enemies of Islam. To him, jihad was not only a military struggle but also an ideological and cultural battle. He considered Al-Qaeda as the primary instrument to conduct this global jihad, targeting both the fight against foreign forces in the Muslim world and carrying out attacks against Western targets worldwide. Osama bin Laden's ideology, which blended extreme religious elements with a radical political agenda, attracted followers who shared his vision and joined Al-Qaeda in pursuit of a jihadist cause. Bin Laden used religious rhetoric and propaganda to recruit and mobilize followers, presenting himself as a defender of the Islamic faith and as a leader willing to sacrifice for what he believed was the defense of Islam. His extremist interpretation of Islam, charismatic appeal, and commitment to fighting against the West contributed to the perception that Osama bin Laden was one of the most dangerous figures in the world. His influence in spreading Islamic extremism and organizing global terrorist attacks solidified his status as a significant threat to international security, during his leadership of Al-Qaeda. Hideout and evasion. Bin Laden managed to evade capture for an extended period by hiding in remote regions of Afghanistan and Pakistan. His ability to elude security forces enhanced his reputation as a skillful fugitive and made him appear elusive. Bounty for capture. The United States offered a substantial bounty for the capture of Osama bin Laden, further increasing his notoriety and incentivizing an intense internet. The reward offered by the U.S. for Osama bin Laden was initially set at several $million. This amount was subsequently increased over the years, reflecting the ongoing importance of his capture to U.S. national security and the international community as a whole. This reward also served to underscore the priority that the United States placed on capturing bin Laden and dismantling Al-Qaeda. The search for bin Laden involved a broad coalition of intelligence agencies, security forces, and military personnel from various countries, and the reward acted as a catalyst for international cooperation in the quest to locate him. This determination ultimately culminated in the operation that resulted in bin Laden's death in May 2011, when U.S. Special Forces located and eliminated the Al-Qaeda leader at his residence in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Osama bin Laden's inclusion in this discussion is based on his role as a contemporary terrorist leader responsible for major attacks and global influence.